Hey, and welcome to Board with Life News for April 20th. Today I'm going to talk about the Mensa Select winners, Route 666, Dark Moon Shadow Corporation, Project Riboflavin, as well as the Kickstarter for Bottom of the Ninth Clubhouse expansion. Let's get to it. Hey, I'm Chris. Welcome to Board with Life News. Last week I posted a vlog about Unpub 6, which is a convention I went to weekend after last, I guess. So if you're at all interested to kind of get a flavor of what Unpub is like, or hear about my experience, or want updates on my designs, whatever, you should definitely go check that out if you haven't already. Also, over on the Moonrat Media channel, we posted our bloopers from Season 2 of Board with Life. Those are one of my favorite things because it's kind of like a scrapbook looking back for us, and you'll probably like laughing at how bad we are at acting and everything like that. So make sure you go and check those out. Okay, on to board game news. The Mensa Select winners were announced. Mensa is I don't even know what technical organization it is. It's for very smart people. And every year they pick some select board games that they think, I guess, exemplify smart or clever. They're usually somewhat lighter games, but usually simple rule sets with deep strategy. This year they announced their winners were Circular Reasoning, Flavor of the Pharaoh, The Last Spike, New York 1901, and World's Fair 1893. I always think these are interesting because they're slightly outside kind of the normal board game realm, right? They're not like Gen Con or Origins or Board Game Geek Awards that are generally by people that are very much active in the board game community. The Mensa Select, not that these aren't good board games or not that they aren't popular board games, but they're just a little bit of a different audience than you generally think of doing board game awards. So I always find it interesting what they think is good. Space Cowboys announced Route 666. This is a game where you're on a road trip fighting zombies, cannibals, haunted carnivals, you know, all the normal good stuff. It has a really good flavor, but what's really interesting about this game to me is it's designed by Martin Wallace, who's generally known for designing pretty complex Euro games like Brass and Steam and A Few Acres of Snow. So this is a way lighter seeming game and a way more thematic. Not that Brass and stuff isn't thematic. I actually think those are highly thematic games, but they're more boring themes for people that like, you know, killing zombies while on road trips. He said he was really interested in exploring narrative in game design, which seems to be a lot of designers are interested in that these days. So it's interesting to see a person who's generally thought of designing dry Euros designing more narrative and thematic and interesting games. So that's super interesting for me. Gathering of Friends was going on last week, and I talked a little bit about that in last week's news. We got more news coming out of that. Stronghold Games tweeted a photo of a playtest they were doing that was a new expansion for Dark Moon. It was called Dark Moon Shadow Corporations. There's no info on what the expansion is going to add to the game, but Dark Moon did pretty well. If you haven't played it, it's really good. It's like a quick version of Battlestar Galactica. So when you only want a 45-minute game, but you still want all the Hidden Betrayer stuff, it's great for that. So we really like it, so I'm pretty excited about this. A mysterious trailer was posted for Project Riboflavin, that I didn't say what game it is, it's just the code name, coming Halloween 2016. The theory is that this is probably the follow-up to Betrayal at House on the Hill. Rob Daviau, who was one of the original designers, has talked a little bit about doing a follow-up game to that. And Riboflavin is the vitamin B2, so that fits with Betrayal 2. And if that is the case, that's a very clever code name, so good on them. Some other signs are at the end of the video. It says Avalon Hill, Wizards of the Coast, and Lone Shark Games. Avalon Hill and Wizards of the Coast are the first publishers, and Lone Shark Games is Mike Selnicker's company, and he was one of the first designers. On the teaser, there's a bunch of names kind of barely visible on the left-hand side, and those names include Rob Daviau, Bruce Glasgow, and Mike Selnicker. And those were the original designers of the game. There are also a whole lot of other board game designers and stuff in there. More interesting to me, though, was some people that generally aren't in the board game world, like Pendleton Ward, who is the creator of the hit cartoon series Adventure Time, Zoe Quinn, who's a video game developer, and Anita Sarkeesian, who runs Feminist Frequency. So I bet that these are going to be people that are all writing unique haunts, where if you don't know Betrayal at House on the Hill, about halfway through the game something happens and you go to this like storybook, and one of 50 different haunt scenarios happens that are different things that happen like in a haunted house movie. So that's really interesting, and I'm pretty excited to see people outside of the board game world write those, assuming that that's what it is. And including some, like Zoe Quinn and Anita Sarkeesian are both very vocal female people in the video game world that have come under a lot of scrutiny from Gamergate and all that stuff. I'm refraining from using curse words, so stuff. So I'm really happy to see them involved in this. I'm really happy to see unique voices, new voices, female voices doing things in the board game world. So yeah, I'm pretty excited about this, and I kind of can't wait. The Kickstarter for this week is for Bottom of the Ninth Clubhouse expansion. This is an expansion to the popular Dice Hate Me Greater Than Games Bottom of the Ninth, which was a baseball simulator. This is going to add new players, tournament rules, managers and support staff, and equipment cards. So there's a whole lot being added to the game. It also is going to come in a really cool deep box so that you can fit all of your stuff in it, as well as there's some dice cups and stuff like that. And it is only $19 right now on Kickstarter. So if that sounds interesting to you, go back it. All right, that's the news for this week. Thanks so much for tuning in. Make sure you follow me on Twitter and Instagram. I'm at Chris Bryan Games. Make sure you follow Moonrat Media on YouTube. Make sure you follow Board with Life on Twitter, all that stuff. I want you to follow me everywhere because, you know, I talk about it every week. It's what makes my ego happy. This week's question comes from at Siawin_HY. I've got no idea. Via Twitter, and he asked, what piques your interest more when you look at a new game? Theme or mechanics? Theme is what makes me often notice a game, right? So an interesting theme or a unique theme, or I kind of tie artwork in with that, is what will make me like pick up a box or go to a BGG page. But mechanics are actually what makes me buy the game, right? I don't care about a game with a good theme but crappy mechanics, and I will certainly buy a game with a crappy theme but good mechanics. So mechanics make me buy a game. Theme often makes me notice a game. But the bigger determining factor than that for me is the designer, where I follow, I don't know, 20 or 30 of my favorite designers, and that's mainly what I'm kind of looking at when I'm looking at a game. And if there's a new interesting game coming out, I'll look at what else that designer's done and see if I kind of like that sort of game. So really what makes me pick a game is the designer. But yeah, so all of those three things play a part in me purchasing a game. Theme is what catches my eye initially. Mechanics are what actually puts me over the top to buy a game. So yeah, good question though. Thanks for asking it. And thank you for tuning in, and I will see you next week.